Hello everyone, my name is Brendan. Welcome back to Tutorial Tuesday. Today I'm bringing you a tutorial on how to make a ballpoint pen. So let's get into it. Alrighty, so we have Blender open here, and what we want to do first, of course, as always, is load in our reference images. So I have those provided underneath in the description. I'll have a download link there, it'll just probably be a link to my website, so you can go download it there on my website. Okay, let's open up the ballpoint pen right here. This is actually, go to front view, and this is the main one we're going to be using for modeling this whole pen. So what we want to do is first off, look at the entire pencil to see what we have here. We have the top part, this piece right here. These are all going to be separate pieces. This is a little bit more detailed than just a pencil, sorry. So I'm going to delete this cube. We're going to use instead a cylinder. And what we will do is we will start with this piece right here. So let's go ahead and add a cylinder after you click and move the cursor, which that's what that little thing is, that's the cursor. So let's go ahead and add a cylinder. Scale that down to about there. And let's move it up. And we will select this right here, limit selection to visible. And we will scale this down. Because of course what this thing does is that actually when you click it, it enables you to select vertices through, it selects not only the visible vertices that you can see on this side, but it selects the other side. So if you have it on, you can select, well, it looks like if you have it on, oh yeah, okay, this is limiting, I'm sorry. This is limiting, so it limits you to select only the ones you can see. But if you turn it off, you can select even the ones you don't see, which are on the other side. They're on this side, but you can only see these. So there we go. Now you know. Alright, let's select these bottom vertices here, move them all the way down. It looks like there's a bit of a curve to this, so we'll separate by extruding. Move it down. And it ends about there. So now what we're going to do is extrude. Let's see. I think what we'll do is extrude till it's about the same size as this shape right here. We'll scale it in and then extrude upward. And now we want to duplicate this and make it a separate object. So we'll just move it down here and then have it, while you still have it selected, press P and then select selection. And now we have it selected. Let's extrude this down to about here and then extrude it again and scale it in right here. So we're matching the shape of this. And I think that's good. Just move this up so it's in here, in the pen. And let's add right here, we will extrude a bit. So focus on this, press E to extrude, scale it in, and then extrude again. And what we want to do is give it enough space so that when we add a sphere, the sphere will actually stick out of here. Rhymes. Alright, let's select cursor to selected, and let's go into object mode, add a UV sphere, scale it in, and there we go. That's the tip of the pen, the ballpoint pen. So we'll just move it out about there. I think that's good. Yep. Actually, just more like this. There we go. Yeah, that's good. Okay, so let's move on to the next part. After we do all this, we'll be able to get into materials. First of all, we're just going to finish this off. Let's duplicate this. Press P and select selection. And let's extrude this all the way up to about here. Yeah, I think right there is probably good. And then let's extrude and scale it out. Try to match this. And extrude again. And there's a nice tool we can use, a really nice tool. And it's called Shear. Press press spacebar and search for Shear. Shear. And select Shear, and then we'll press X on the keyboard. I think it's X. Wait. Okay, never mind. Y. Select Y. And we will shear this on the Y-axis. It's very nice because if you just rotated it like this, you see it doesn't do what you want it to. You have to do this and then scale it up, and it would just give you a big problem. So we're just going to click shear, press Y, and it solves all your problems. It's perfect. Gives you the angle you want. Now you can just move it up. And we will duplicate this. Press P, selection, and let's make this a separate object and just match this here, so about there. And from here we can just duplicate this again, make a separate selection, and extrude this up on the Z axis, or the Z axis. Alright, let's bring it all the way up, about there. And now there's, as you can see, there's a gap right there. So we're probably going to leave it about there. And everything's looking pretty good. Yep. Let's go into front view again. Alrighty, so let me turn up the opacity of this image. And for this piece, we are going to duplicate again, move it up, and extrude on the Z axis. And let's just scale that till it's about there, and then scale it in, add another edge loop, scale it out a bit, and let's see, this is more straight on this side, so we'll just drag this out about there, and I think that's good. We'll just drag this out as well. Yeah, it looks pretty good. It looks okay. Not too much of a problem. Alright, because anyway, we're going to mirror this anyway. So if we do anything on this side, it'll be the same on the other side. Okay, so let's add in another cylinder for this shape. So as you can see, there's a lot of cylinders. First of all, I think what we should do first is really match this piece right here, and then scale this one in just a bit like that. Yeah, I think that matches a lot better. Not perfect, but something like that should be good, because this image is off, so it may end up looking kind of weird. And I think this gap might be a little too much, so we might want to move it down a bit, about there. Okay, and now we will add a bevel to this edge first before we add this last piece. Well, that's actually not the last piece, there's this piece too, but let's press Control B after you selected this. And it looks like we're having some problems here. And I think that's because I messed this up here. So I'm just going to delete this face, and I'm going to delete these vertices actually. I'm going to go back into front view, extrude it up, scale it in again, just about there. See, I'll move it over about there, and then scale it down, scale it up, and I think that's good right there. We'll press Control B again, and it should make a nice bevel. Okay, let's just add a face first. That's why. Control B, and there we go. We got our bevel that we wanted. Okay, so let's select this face. Press Shift S, and then cursor to selected. Let's add in a cylinder. Scale it down till it matches about the scale of this right here. And let's match the size. Let's just scale it down. And let's see. Let's extrude up. And it looks like it curves, starts curving right there. So we'll start scaling it in. Extrude up and scaling it in. There we go. That should be good. Yep. Everything's looking really great. Alright, so now that we've done all that, let's move on to let's move on to extruding right here. And see, if we move this It'll go down into it. So we want to move on the normal and press G and Y twice, and that will keep it straight on its path, which is perfect. I love that tool. And is that in the center? Looks like it's a bit off center. No, I think it's pretty good, but it's just like off on that side. So maybe we can just make sure that it's centered first. Just press Control, Shift S, I keep saying that. Cursor to, selection to cursor is what I wanted to do. Let's do that again. Cursor to selected, selection to cursor. Okay. And let's go back and line it up again. There we go. Okay, now we can extrude. Should be centered. Extrude. Scale it in a bit. And then extrude it down like that. And we can just delete the face at the edge, as well as all the faces of these. We don't need them. And it'll just make it better for us when we add a subsurf modifier, which is what we'll do after we're done with everything. So let's delete all these faces. Delete this face. Delete this face. Delete this face. Let's add an edge loop right here. Just a few cleaning up things to do. And I think that's good. Let's add in that last piece, and then we'll add the subsurf modifier to everything and finish it all up. Add in some materials and stuff like that. So let's go ahead and add it from this view right here. Let's add in a cube. Let's mirror it. Press delete the other side, the left side, and then add a mirror modifier. Add in that mirror modifier. And what we want to do is just move these across here. And for what it looks like, this extrudes upwards. It bridges across like this. Let's add in a clipping, turn on the clipping, actually, and let's match this. Looks like it bends in right here. It's hard to tell exactly what it's doing, but it seems like it's doing that, so let's just try to match up as much as we can. Let's drag this up here, and I think that's almost done. It's probably good. We'll just add in this extra curve there. Okay, I think that's good. Now let's match this as well up here, because it does look like it curves. It matches kind of the shape of this piece right here that we made. And then extrudes downward, and it curves in as well, like this. Extrude it down, extrude all the way down here, and there we go. Looks like I'm a little bit off here, and down to there, right about there. Yeah, and then there's a little curve right here, I think. Yeah, if you look in this side, I don't think there is a curve, but it curves that on that side. So we'll just extrude this down and extrude again, and it gets smaller. Extrude again, gets even smaller, and finishes off like that pretty much. A little bit smaller. There we go. Okay, and then what we'll do is we'll rotate this 90 degrees. And we will match it up on the side. Excuse me. Okay, and we will delete these faces right here. Here, and all the way up to there. I think we could probably even delete the other faces, but for now, let's just delete these faces in the center as well. Looks like we might have a hard time doing that. Select them like this. Delete vertices instead. That'd be much easier, at least for now. And let's go into front view. Let's start matching this up right here. See, it curves down right there, about there, and it curves right here, up to there. And continues all the way up here. Let's rotate this, rotate that, or move that, I mean. All right, let's rotate this 90 degrees, scale it down a bit, and let's keep on matching this up. Yeah, I think that's pretty good. Like that. That should be good. Might just match it up on this side as well. There we go. Oops. Should match. It's a little bit messy, but it's okay. And I think that's really good for now. All right. It's looking okay. Yeah, I think we can leave it like that. Looks okay. We just need to extrude this right here. And yeah. So this piece right here, extrude it up. Scale it down on the, what would that be, the Y axis. Extrude it, scale it again, and move it into where the pen, not the pencil, where the pen would be. So I think about there is good. Yeah, it should work. Now let's move it in. And let's put let's put this into the side of the pen, like this. Just drag it in. And it should look better when we have our subsurf modifier on. So don't worry about that. Yeah, I think that's good. Pretty good, not too shabby, as Andrew Price likes to say. Here we go. Not too shabby. All right. Let's just select this edge there. If you can see, hopefully you can see the edge that I'm talking about. And let's add in a new edge loop right there. Drag it out a bit just to round off the edge. And maybe even move this in a bit. And let's just add our subsurf modifier we've been waiting for a long time to add. So let's press Ctrl+2 to add that subsurf modifier. And there we go. We added it in. Let's hit smooth there. Start adding subsurf modifiers to everything now. Let's add one to this at the very top. Let's add in a subsurf modifier. Let's do Ctrl+1. I forgot to delete the bottom piece there. And let's do Ctrl+1 for this as well. Let's hit smooth for for the same for all of these. Hit smooth, smooth, and smooth, as well as the sphere. Smooth. There we go. Now let's add in, oops, forgot to delete the faces on this one as well. Let's delete those. And let's delete the, okay, we already delete these, never mind. I think we, oh, did we delete these? No, we didn't. We should have. Should have deleted all of these. Anything you're adding a subsurf modifier to, you should delete the end faces if they're not showing. So let's add in one for all of these. One here, right there. Wait, did we? Okay, we already added one, I'm sorry. But I think it looks, gets rid of that sluggish look, whatever that is. Slug slime. Yeah, so I think we're pretty much done with the modeling, except for this right here. You can see there's overlapping faces. I'll just delete those. I think it might be essential, it might be better to actually extrude this in like that. Yeah, I think that'll work better. All right, so I think we're done with the modeling. Now we'll just move on to the materials. Here we go. All right, so let's go ahead and add a material starting with the very bottom piece. I think this right here needs an edge loop. Sorry. Yeah, that'll be better. Yeah. Okay, so let's start from the very bottom piece. This piece right here needs to have a shiny-ish material. So we'll just call this one shiny metal, as I did in the other tutorial. Let's add a mix shader. And let's add a glossy shader and a diffuse shader together. And we want it to look something like that. If we can, let's just open up another window there, go into the rendered view. And I think it's a good idea to add a few things like turn up the background color to more of a white, as well as add a lamp with using an emission shader. So we'll just move this over here, add a new material for this, change it to emission, set it to 5, and I'll just give it some light to base our mesh materials. So to see what it looks like if the light is shining on it, like reflecting or whatever. If light is reflecting, just turn down the background a bit so we can see this over here. And I think it looks more glossy than that. So we'll turn down the factor, and we will turn down the roughness as well. Make it more of a glossy material. Let's scale these up to add a nice long shadow. I mean, not long shadow, long reflection. Let's change this to Beckman as well. And yeah, let's turn down the roughness a bit more. Maybe a 0.01 might work. And let's see, leave this factor down. And let's see if we can get the better. This, give it some nice. You can actually load in an environment texture. And okay, that doesn't look the way I thought it would. It's because I used a different reference image, which I think was this one. Might have been this one actually. Not sure which one it was. I don't think it was any of those though. Sorry about this. Sorry, I think what I will do is just move on and add in this material. So let's add in a mix shader, add in another glossy, and another diffuse. We actually could have just copied the other one, but I think it's okay. Let's make this one bluish. So let's copy the color from this pen. And it's about the right material. Just a tad bit of shininess to it. And let's add in the same material for this one right here. Let's add in a shiny metal, duplicate it, and call it less shiny metal. I don't know what else to call it. Whatever that is. And let's make it more of a diffused material. Something like that. And let's go into this one. This one's more of a silverish, less shiny metal. So let's add that material, and we'll call this the shiny metal darker, maybe. And we'll darken it a bit, as well as make it a little bit less shiny. I think this one's a little bit too white to match with the other one in the reference image. This also might be too shiny. This one right here. So let's turn it down on this as well. I mean, not shiny, but I meant it's too dark in the color. So this right here is going to have the shiny metal, and that's looking a little bit plastic, but maybe that's okay. This piece up here is going to have the shiny metal, so we'll assign that. Actually, first have to add in a new material right here, a new material slot, and then select shiny metal. And then we'll just select this by clicking on one part, and then pressing Control L, and then clicking Assign. And I think we're almost done, except this one right here. Let's just add shiny metal. There we go. And I think we'll darken it a bit. It's not so light like that. Yeah. I think that's pretty good. Maybe a little bit more diffused. Turn up the FAC. As well as the roughness. Something like that, maybe. This down here doesn't seem to be as affected, but it really is if you look at a different angle. If you look at it at a different angle. It's pretty shiny actually, I don't know. It seems like it is. Like there's not really any excuse me. There's not really any roughness to it. Not sure. Yeah. Pretty much. Let's try maybe doing diffuse and then changing the shader to glossy. Down here. Let's turn up the factor. I think basically it's all that does is just switch them around. Yeah. Let me just quickly open up my blend file and see what that looks like. Okay, so what I did was I made the shiny metal. I had it the same way I had it before, so this was the glossy, and this was the diffuse. Whoops, not background. And I made the factor, I set the factor to 0.185. 0.185. And I set the roughness to 0.006. And it looks like that's all I did. That's pretty much it. Just have to turn down, also had Beckman. And I think that's all I did, yeah. Maybe it might have been the background that was influencing it. So I did actually have an environment texture. And the one that I had was right here. This right here. that was the background image. So it kind of adds a nice background, nice light or lighting. So I think that's about it. Yeah, I think that pretty much does it. Yeah. Hopefully. Hope you liked the tutorial. Hope you learned something new. And we forgot to do something. We forgot to add material to the very bottom piece. Let's add the less shiny metal and the shiny metal to that little ball. Let's make this a different material. No need to name it, we'll just leave it. Make it a little bit more shiny, a little bit shinier, less diffused, and turn down the roughness a bit. And I think that's good. Yeah, I think that pretty much suits it. It's pretty nice. So, thank you guys for watching, and I hope you learned something. I hope I did this right. I hope you liked it, and I will see you next time.